Hi everyone, welcome to my channel where I discuss all things human design. On today's episode, I'm going to be covering my personal morning routine from the perspective of human design. With that, I will be referencing several areas of the human design chart and highly recommend having your chart out in front of you. If you have no idea what I'm talking about and you're new to human design, I've linked several resources in the description box below where you can learn more about human design and pull up your chart for free. Lastly, if you're interested in learning more about human design and how it relates to our everyday life experience, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as I put out 2 new videos each week. I'm super excited to share on morning routines because this is kind of a hobby of mine. I love learning about them and adapting new areas to my morning routine, just like I love learning about human design and seeing how that shows up in my life. With that, I do want to remind that as I'm referencing specific areas to the human design chart, if you have a specific area that is similar to mine, but you don't necessarily find that you operate that way or it doesn't resonate with you, that's totally okay. We are all designed differently and there is so much in our human design charts that there's no way I could cover everything in just one simple video, referencing just a few areas of the human design chart. So I just want you to keep that in mind and see this video as simply a fun way to learn about human design from the real life perspective. With that, you might have guessed it if you are a senior in human design, that I do have a few active transformation arrows. When I'm talking about transformation arrows, I'm referencing the outer arrows found in our human design chart, and specifically I'm talking about the 2 upper arrows in our human design chart. I'll start with the left side upper arrow. I have this in the active energy. And so I personally find that I love routine. I thrive on routine. And when I don't have my morning routine set up, or I miss an area, or I'm feeling rushed, which I'll speak about in a moment, I just feel like the rest of the day doesn't flow as I would like. And it just feels like something's missing. Given that my active arrow on the right side is also facing left, I find that I'm quite detail-oriented, which you'll see in a moment when I dive into my actual morning routine based on human design. With that, I do want to mention a third area of the human design chart, which is the root energy center. And I have this undefined, meaning that I already have the awareness that I don't necessarily operate well under pressure. So I try to make sure I have plenty of time to get through my very detail-oriented morning routine. For any of you watching that have everything opposite or a mix of this opposite, I'll just quickly explain that if you have a passive arrow in the left side, this would be maybe an example where you might have a morning routine, but you might not have as many details or elements. Similarly, if you have on the right side, the right upper arrow facing right, also passive energy, you might have elements of the morning routine I'm about to describe, but it might not be as detail-oriented. If you have a defined route, perhaps you enjoy waking up in the morning, brushing your teeth, and jumping to work straight away, that you actually operate well under pressure and you don't need as much time in the morning. So keep that in mind. I hope you enjoyed this video and let me know in the comments below if you learned anything that you plan to adopt to your own personal morning routine, and also what your morning routine is. I love learning more about morning routines and would appreciate any feedback I can get. So please let me know in the comments below. All right, with that lengthy intro behind us, it's time to get into my very detail-oriented morning routine. I start my morning obviously with waking up, and I immediately start with a 10-minute meditation. I am a generator and it's extremely hard to get me to sit still. I constantly have a brain that is thinking about what I should be doing next, that wants to just go, 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 and it's really difficult for me to quiet my brain. And so what I do is meditate first thing in the morning before I let my brain actually wake up. It's kind of a trick. I simply sit up in bed, put a timer on for 10 minutes, and close my eyes and really focus on my breath. And it was not easy to build up to 10 minutes and it took me a long time. I think I started with 2-minute meditation followed by 5, and now I'm at 10 minutes. After my 10-minute meditation, the next thing I like to do is put a timer again on my watch for 5 minutes this time and visualize. During this visualization process, I really think about how do I want my day to go. I think about what do I have on my calendar, and how do I see the meetings going? If I have a client call, how do I see that client call going? And I imagine it happening or unfolding in a way that is best for everyone. The way I think about visualization is kind of like visually scripting. So for those of you that are familiar with scripting and writing out how you want your future to be as if it's happening in the present moment, I kind of do that with my time spent visualizing. I literally visualize the day that I want to have, and I let it unfold and let go. This has a lot to do with my right side bottom right arrow, which is actually passive energy, which means it's facing right, and in human design terms means that I am a non-specific manifester. So I spend this time, this 5 minutes, concentrated on how I want my day to go, and then I let go and I'm ready to show up for the day as soon as I finish my morning routine. The third part, or the next part of my morning routine, is actually reciting affirmations. I only began this a few years ago, and in the beginning it felt really unnatural and really weird. I simply choose 10 affirmations. Usually I have a document next to my bed and I just repeat them out loud. Sometimes I repeat them once, sometimes I repeat them with my partner, sometimes I repeat them a few times. And as I mentioned, it didn't feel natural in the beginning, but now I feel that I love morning affirmations. It really just raises my vibration, raises my energy, and gets me excited to start the day. The next part of my morning routine is a gratitude practice that I've developed over the years. And I do my gratitude practice with a 5-minute journal. And the 5-minute journal, I will link below. This is absolutely not advertised, or this is not an ad. I simply just love the format of this journal, so I'm going to be sharing that with you. But the 5-minute journal truly does take 5 minutes, and it has been a practice that I started doing with my partner, and it has done so much both for ourselves as individuals, but also for our relationship. In the planner, what I love about it, or in the journal, there is a section for gratitude. So in the morning you start with 3 gratitudes, then you follow it with 3 things that would make today great. And usually I think about my time in my visualization practice and what I was visualizing for the day, and I write down something there. And then there's a daily affirmation. And I like to have fun with the affirmation. It's not always a serious mantra or something serious. Sometimes it's quite fun, and it's just a fun sentence for the day. I am, and then you fill in the blanks. I really love it. It's a lot of fun. And what I like about this is there's also an evening gratitude practice. I forgot to mention, though sometimes it doesn't happen, although sometimes it does, or quite often it does, I also have a dream journal that I absolutely love. And I like to record my dreams because I have quite lucid dreams. Those of you that know me know that I wake up almost every morning with a new story to tell because my dreams are crazy. This is just a really fun notebook that allows me to write down my dreams, and I find it super interesting to look back at my dreams a few weeks later and see how everything is played out, and if I can connect the dots or if there's anything that I need to learn from them. Moving on, I then set my timer again. So obviously having a timer is a big part of my morning routine, and this time I set my timer for 10 minutes and I take time to read. I specifically read fictional books in the morning because I find that I spend so much time reading nonfiction that to start the day, it's really nice just to read something light and fun. I love Murakami, and again, totally not a sponsored ad, but if you love Murakami, let me know in the comments below. And if you have not yet read Murakami, but you're looking for a new fiction author to get into, I highly recommend him. I read all of his books, and I'm actually reading this one now for the 2nd time. The next step is, again, I put 10 minutes on my timer and I do yoga for 10 minutes. I'm hoping to build this up to 20 minutes, but I noticed that my flexibility is already tremendously improving just by doing 10 minutes of yoga every morning. And I have this as my morning practice because I find that if I don't do yoga or next up my exercise in the morning, it's very unlikely that I'm going to get to it. I'll have too many distractions, I'll be at work, and I won't be able to focus or give myself that time. I'll always feel as a generator that energy of not necessarily thinking that it's the most efficient time to be working out in the middle of the day. Again, having that open or undefined route, I think also plays a role in this, where I hate being under pressure. I don't like it at all. And if I find that I can't do my exercise in the morning, I don't want to put myself under pressure to do it later on when I should be doing something else. My exercise actually varies quite a bit depending on the weather and if it's too cold outside or not. If it's not too cold outside, I'll try to go for a 30-minute walk. But if it is too cold, then oftentimes I'll put it on a YouTube and do a HIIT workout or kickboxing, and sometimes even dance. This is an example where even though my arrows on my left side, that upper left arrow that I mentioned, thrives on routine, when it comes to exercise, I don't necessarily have a set routine. The focus for me personally is to just move for 30 minutes, and that's what I try to do every morning before I get to work. This is a big part of my morning routine and I love it so much. The next step in my morning routine, if you are still with me, is to finally drink coffee. I personally love Nescafe, which is disgusting to most people, and I don't even know if it's considered coffee, but I like to sip it while I do my morning words. And while I used to write my morning words in a journal, I actually ended up a few years ago switching to my computer and typing up 1,000 words in a document every day. This has been very interesting. I used to, in the beginning when I started this exercise, just write about everything and anything, and if it was bad news or good news, it didn't matter. I just simply typed for 1,000 words. But now I actually consciously try to type from a positive perspective, meaning that even if I want to write about something that is difficult at work or that I'm not enjoying at the moment, I really try to go in and write from a place of appreciation and gratitude. So if I am having a hard time at work, I might actually write, I'm having a hard time at work, but I realize that this is an opportunity to grow and learn, and I accept this challenge and I know that there's only better. This really helps to change my perspective, and if you're following along on this morning routine and you're trying to find out which is the best thing to implement or what I find has been the most helpful, definitely writing these 1,000 words is super crucial. After I do my writing, I've got my watch out and I set the timer for another 10 minutes and I spend time organizing my house. This is something new that I implemented when we started to have shelter in place in San Francisco. I noticed that every day I used to just go to work, I used to do my morning routine, go to work, come home, and then on weekends I would do a big clean. But when you're working from home, I think that it's super important just to take 10 minutes. It literally only takes 10 minutes to organize the house a bit. So I might wipe down the counters, vacuum, and just get my space ready to start the day. After that, I will finally eat a little breakfast and get ready, showered, dressed, and I'm ready to start my workday. That's kind of a summary of my morning routine. I know there is a lot of elements, so for a quick review, I chatted about how I start with meditation, then I spend some time visualizing, I repeat some affirmations, I then have a gratitude practice and sometimes a dream journal practice. I then spend 10 minutes doing some yoga exercise, followed by some movement and some cardio exercise. And then I have kind of disgusting instant Nescafe. Let me know if you like Nescafe too, or if you think I'm crazy. And I write for 1,000 words. Like I said, 1,000 words sounds like a lot, but it really over time becomes so much easier, and it's just for you. It's not like anybody is going to see those words. It's just for your own personal well-being, and I think it is so helpful. So if you had to choose one thing out of my entire morning routine, I would say writing is the top one that I have started to implement over the years and have found most profound. After that, I organize my apartment a bit, I eat breakfast, and then I get ready and I'm ready to start the day. That's my morning routine in a nutshell. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as I mentioned earlier, if you learned something new or if you have something that you usually add to your morning routine, I definitely want to know about it. So let me know in the comments below, and I can't wait to learn more with you.